There we go. My Wi-Fi was going out. Okay, so this is very different live than what I normally do. And I just sat here for about a good 10 minutes with what I wrote at the beginning, staring at my face on the screen, waiting to hit the start live button because I wasn't quite sure. At first I thought I had the guts, and then I wasn't quite sure if I had the guts to do this. But I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways because I feel like even if it can only help like one person, and even if, Lauren, you might be in trouble. I feel like even if this can only help one person, that it will be worth it. I just had a super emotional phone call. Sorry. I just had a super emotional phone call. And so I'm very emotional right now. So hopefully, I'm sorry, Lauren, I probably will make you cry. But the one quote that I put in here that I put on here is, "You are a beautiful person. You are good enough. You're just often misunderstood by people who know your name, but not your story," which is by Ty Howard. And I think that's so true because sometimes people, this part's going to be business, the rest isn't, I promise. But sometimes people, just recently I noticed some people have blocked me and I'm like, really? Are my posts? I mean, I don't only post about business. I post about other things too. But yes, I am going to post about my business because this business is what keeps me going. Like uplifting and empowering and encouraging my girls to do things they've never been able to do is super empowering. So no, I'm not going to stop doing that. And I'm like, it's not the fact that I had a couple people block me or I hear some negative comments. It's not that. But I don't think people realize the things they do or the things they say that end up hurting people for so long. In my case, I grew up in an abusive household. Some of this I haven't shared publicly, so I don't know. I may delete this when I'm done. I have no idea. I just finally got the guts. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come on here. I grew up in an abusive household. It's very, very hard. I was just talking to my counselor about this. See, I have no shame. I FaceTime a counselor weekly. She's out in California. But it's so, there's still so many negative beliefs that I have. So I know this has to be true with other people. Negative beliefs that I have within myself from things from my childhood, which I'm 38 now. I mean, some of this stuff is from when I was in 6th grade, younger even, or younger. And it's stuff that like never leaves you, and it becomes your negative self-beliefs. And it is so flipping hard to try and change that because it just becomes instilled in you. I have this really bad habit of trying to be a perfectionist. I feel like nothing I ever do is good enough. I feel like, but I could be doing this and I could be a better mom, but I should be doing more around the house. I should be doing more with my business. I should be doing more with this and that. And then you know what happens? I get to this point, and this just happened 2 days ago, and I get to this point and I just completely shut down. Boom. I just shut down and I just can't even, I just shut down because it becomes too overwhelming. And so I was just talking to my counselor and she's like, okay, we just need to break it down. So we started getting into like why I feel this way, which for those of you that don't know, a big, huge part of my life and why I do this is because, why I do this with Unique is because in 6th and 7th grade, I was bullied nearly to death. Now, there was an incident yesterday at an academic tournament. It was in the other room on the other team with a girl who has been doing some bullying. And I really do hope it's addressed because I don't think I wasn't protected. Hi, Maria Karen. I wasn't protected back then. The school did not do jack squat to protect me. My mom did after a few years. I was transferred to a Catholic school in 8th grade. But like when I'm talking bullying, I think this is where I'm going with this. It happens as kids and it happens in adulthood. There's adult bullies too. It's not just kids. Now when I was a kid, it wasn't just your typical name calling. Like during 6th and 7th grade, I was bullied so bad. I mean, to the point where, oh no, I don't want to cry. I'm sorry. I was bullied so bad to the point where I had kids, and I think I formed a lot of negative self-beliefs about this, which is wrong, and it's so hard to change. Which is why I hate when adults bully or judge, and it comes with addiction. I cannot freaking stand when I see people talking about addiction on here, and they're like, they did it to themselves. They tried it. Yes, they made that one decision, and then it became an addiction. Like my brother, for example, my brother hated that life. He didn't have the coping skills that he needed, which I don't either. A lot of us don't. I'm not going to speak for my sisters, but a person made a choice with addiction, and they made that choice initially, yes, but they didn't choose that life afterwards. They became addicted because they did not know how to cope, and I feel like it's that way with so many things. Your negative self-beliefs being one. And so I'm just going to bust it out here because you know what? No one knows this. So I'm just going to tell you. I grew up in an abusive household. I was bullied during 6th and 7th grade. Severely. Not just name calling. It was boys and girls. I was shoved from... I'm sorry. Oh my God, I can't believe... I might delete this. I'm so embarrassed. I was bullied by boys and girls. I know I've showed you this before, but this that I have on the side of my nose, I hate it. I hate my nose to this day. This that I have is from my nose being broken by a particular girl who did have me on the ground, and the school did nothing at that point. The school did nothing to protect me. I knew that day when I went outside because every day I was shoved from side to side, locker to locker. Oh my God, my hand's shaky. Locker to locker, punched, kicked in the head, spit on, you name it. Not your average name calling. This went on for like 2 years. It really took a hit on my self-esteem. Until I found this company, I had no self-esteem. I had no sense of belonging. I didn't know, I just didn't ever feel a part of something bigger. I did work in the school district for kids with special needs. That was very rewarding. It was also very challenging and stressful. But I didn't feel a sense of belonging where I wasn't judged. That's what I have here. So, on my work aspect, when you see me posting about somebody who's reached an achievement or something, don't be scared to like that post, because that person, I have a few in particular that I won't name them here. They didn't even have the self-confidence to post a picture of themselves or anything, do a live video, or to go about normal things in their life, because they didn't have that self-confidence and that self-belief that they were capable of achieving something, anything. And so I freaking love what I do. Yes, I love what I do. I'm sorry for those people that have blocked me. Your loss. If it annoys you, it doesn't happen all the time, but and so then there was this quote, she builds others up because she knows what it's like to be torn down. And I totally 100% agree with that. There was another one, never be bullied into silence. Never allow yourself to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. Which, I'm still dealing with that now. I always feel like, well, I could be a better mother. I could be doing this. And then I'm like, oh, Emma hates me. She's 14. It's teenage stuff, I'm sure. But it is so, so hard to get those negative beliefs out of your head. And I so strongly encourage you to, I have a wonderful counselor now she is in California. We FaceTime weekly every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And she's so flipping wonderful, and she helps me so much. And this morning I'm like, oh, I don't even really know if I need to talk to her today. I don't think we have anything to talk about. And it ended up with me bawling my eyes out for the entire hour. And here I am. Now I'm doing this raw, real live. But, and then so she's digging deep. Okay. She never says, how does that make you feel? Because I always said, no, I'll break up with the first person that says, how does that make you feel? Because I don't like that. but in the way I met her, which I'm just going to come out, not a lot of people know this, which takes me back to the addiction thing. I know there's so many people that judge people with addiction. There's been 2 different threads lately, and I need to not even follow those comments because I can't take it. There's so many different addictions. It doesn't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, food, just the addiction to be with someone. I mean, there's so many different addictions. So I did not like have healthy sex. That's another one. I did not have healthy coping mechanisms pretty much my whole life. Like if something was thrown at me, like I didn't really know how to deal with it. So I would hold it all in. And I still do sometimes, which isn't healthy. But so last year at this time, and I've never shared this publicly, and I could be judged for it, but you know what? I'm putting it out there because it's real life. Last year at this time, I had just gotten back. I actually spent about 4 months out in California with my upline with Unique, who opened up her home to me and allowed me to stay with her. And I attended an intensive outpatient program for gambling rehab. And during the time when I left, not a lot of people knew that. During the time when I left, it was extremely hard. I was over 3,000 miles away from my family. It was during the holidays. I did come home for 1 week at Christmas. And I still have extreme guilt over that, but I know it's what I needed to do in order to get my life back on track. Like, I just didn't have healthy coping mechanisms. I mean, so I guess I'm just encouraging you, like, if you have things, I mean, you can open up and talk to me. I'm not a counselor, but I mean, I'm willing to talk to anybody about anything. I just helped somebody with something, who has something going on, and I was able to point her in the direction of some groups and some people that could help her, with her husband. But just to reach out for the help and try and not to hold in and not to talk to people. Like, that time was so freaking hard for me. But I got to the point where, like, I was total shutdown mode. Like, yeah, I just didn't know how to deal with stuff. And I've always suffered with anxiety and depression, which it's majorly under control now. I mean, I feel really good compared to where I was even just 5 years ago. So, like, reach out for that help. And it's really not, I know it's like, some people are just afraid to, or they think they don't need it. And what I did, I tend to shut down. I hold everything in. I am a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist in everything. Not my house right now. There's a lot of stuff I need to get done that I actually had to make myself a list today. So I crossed a few things off this list to get it done. But I knew, like, so I held everything in, and I'm going back to the addiction thing just because it bothers me so much when people say, but it was a choice. And I actually seen somebody on a thread that talked about, they disagreed with the Narcan thing and bringing people back. And I'm going to tell you right now, my brother hated that life. My brother had a lot of the same issues that I have, and I think a lot of it comes back to how you were raised or things that happened in your life, like defining freaking moments in your life, and you just don't know how to deal with them. But really, like, I encourage you to reach out for that help. Me going away for that 4 months was the hardest thing ever, but it changed my life. Like, it was like a dual thing. The gambling was a symptom of something so much more. I feel like the drinking, it does become like, drinking and drugs is different in the fact that it becomes a physical addiction as well, but it's all a symptom of something. It's something deep down, and so you have to kind of switch that. You have to figure it out. And if I would not have gone away when I did, I don't know that I'd still be here today. I was at the point, such a low point in my life. Like, my mom came in my mouth twice, and actually peeled me up off of the couch to the point where I couldn't even move. Yes, gambling was my escape. Gambling was my escape because, you know what? It was just me and my machine, and I didn't give a shit about anything else. I really didn't. It so took over. My only thing was, when can I go gamble? And when can I, how can I find the money? How can I switch the funds? And I make good money with my job. So it wasn't even about the money, though. It was about the escape. It didn't matter how much I won. I was going to put it back in that damn machine. And there are not, because there might be somebody watching who's local. I know as far as our town, I'm in Illinois. Illinois legalized this gaming in every single establishment, from your grocery store to your gas stations, community clubs, the KSCs. Everywhere is allowed to have up to 5 machines, but there are no freaking resources in this area. I tried 6 months before I went in. I tried 4 months before I went in. The only way I could find help, there are meetings which are about 2 hours away that you can attend. The only way I could find help was by going away, and that's what I had to do. So I made the decision, because I know I've had some people, I just had somebody ask me recently, they wondered why I was away for that time. So I thought, I'm just going to go ahead and tell everybody, because you know what? Everybody has their things, and that's what happened to me. And I don't, if I can help somebody, I want to help somebody. Reach out, if you're having issues or having problems, and try and find help. For me, I didn't even realize it at first, but that became my escape. I didn't go the drug or alcohol route. I used to get made fun of, in fact, in high school, because I was the person that didn't drink. I was the designated driver. I would get kind of made fun of in a way. I wasn't the party girl at all. I'm still not. I may drink twice a year, if that, 3 times, whatever. Socially, but that was never an issue for me. I knew that I was going to go the complete opposite way of my dad. So for me, it was just never an issue. My dad was also a compulsive gambler. And once I legalized these machines, it was just I would totally go there to escape and to freaking zone out. And that was just what I did. I have right now, what do I have? I haven't checked it. I usually check it once a week. I probably have 485 days clean, I think, without spending a single penny, without placing a single bet, which is a freaking miracle. Because when I went in there, I'm like, you mean what? I'm never gonna be able to gamble again. It was this big, huge, epiphany, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. But it has, and I've done so well, and I've been able to help other people with some of the same issues. Sorry, I'm looking at some of the things. Jacqueline, it was last year. I was out in California not last year, the year before. November, December, January, February. I think I came back in March. So it was the hardest thing, because I felt like, my kids are teenagers, but are my kids going to feel like I abandoned them? Do they still feel like I abandoned them during that time? But I've explained to them, that saved me. Honestly, at that point, and I'm just going to get real here, honestly, at that point, towards the end, I didn't care if I drove off a bridge and died. I didn't care at that point. I did not care. The only thing that got me out of bed in the morning was the fact that I was able to go gamble. If I couldn't go gamble, I didn't even want to get out of bed in the morning. It's crazy the way addiction works, but I've seen so many posts recently on addiction, so I guess that's why I just decided to do this. I don't know. But see, I'm going all over the place here. Sorry, my brain is like, but no. So I just, between that and then, the bullying, there's so many things, and that's what I was just talking to my counselor, and she's like, but what? She's trying to dig all deep, and I'm like, I don't know. She's like, when did you feel that way? How long ago? Oh, wait, she didn't say when did you feel that way, because I told her I'd break up with her if she ever said that to me. And I've been seeing her for over a year now, and we FaceTime. She is freaking wonderful. She is so amazing. And it was just funny, because today I'm like, yeah, I don't really even feel like I need that appointment. And then I got on there, and here I was it turned into this big, huge thing. So Thank you, Dawn. I do feel like I've overcome so much. I feel like I'm a brand new person, and I'm working on myself every day as far as the confidence. I still have that. Are you kidding me? Like, I feel like I have such a perfectionism, like wanting to be perfect and feeling like I'm not doing enough with my team or around the house or just everything in all aspects of life. Like, I feel like I'm not good enough. And I think as women and men, I know there's some men on here, but I mean, especially as women, like, I feel like we all feel that way. Like, we're not doing enough. But the important thing is that you just do what you're able to do and keep chugging along. For me, I have, like, and I'm not kidding you, this is my list, okay? This is embarrassing. Can't believe I'm showing you this. This is my list she had me make today. So, I have, like, a list of things that I'm going to accomplish today because that's my problem. I get so overwhelmed and I shut down. And I'm like, God, I just don't want to do any of it because it's just way too overwhelming. And it comes back to that perfectionist mode. And, you know, even when I was in college and I had a perfect 4.0 the entire time I went. I was sicker than a dog, stressing myself out. I had a ton of classes, which I didn't know until I requested my transcripts like a few years ago, but I had a ton of classes, but I was such a perfectionist and I had a huge workload, and I was like, I had to have that 4.0. I did whatever it took. I was literally so sick after my first year. I finally ended up dropping out. I talked to my mom. I lost 30 pounds in a very short period of time. Maybe I should go back to school now, I think. I'm just kidding. I lost 30 pounds in a very short period of time. And I was crawling from room to room. I was so weak. And that's like because I am such a freaking perfectionist. And it is so bad. It literally, like, what you tell yourself manifests into these negative beliefs. And I didn't realize, you know, we got into some of that today, but I mean, I am like, holy shit, I am carrying this stuff with me from childhood. These people that bullied me, like, dude, I look at them now, and I'm sorry, but they don't really have their life together, okay? Some of them I see in the police beat. Some of them, they have kids now who are the same way. And I see their posts. We're not mutual friends, but I can see their posts sometimes, and I'm like, oh God. It's just like the tradition carries on. So, I don't know. I guess that's just what I wanted to say. I know that, like, because I know I can't be the only one who's sitting here, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get real and whatever. And like I said, this is hair and makeup from yesterday, so don't judge. But I feel so blessed and thankful in what I do because I'm able to lift up other people and take what I've learned and the things I didn't learn back then and to pass them on to them and, like, make them feel worthy. I have so many people, and this, like, really bothers me. It really bothers me. I have so many women that I've talked to who have messaged me that have said, I'd love to do what you do, but I'm not pretty enough, but I'm not confident enough, but I'm trying to think of some of the things. I could never do it. You're good at it. I'll just let you do it. And I'm like, no. And I don't get a damn dime when somebody signs up underneath me. I'll tell you, I don't get a dime. But it kills me that somebody says they're not pretty enough. Because everyone is freaking gorgeous. Everyone is freaking gorgeous. You know, except for those bullies back in the day. No, I'm kidding. But, you know, everyone has something to offer. I'm just getting a daily shine text. I get those daily, too. I could post the link below. It's these daily shine texts, and it's like this inspirational things. I do a lot of personal development. I do a lot of self-help personal development. I get a subscription to Audible. And I do a lot of, one of them's called Unbleep Yourself, and it's about negative, I don't want to say that out loud, in case there's any kids on here, but it's about negative self-beliefs, and I think it's so important just to, like, get out of your own head, and that's where I get stuck at. I get stuck in my own head. I'm gonna see, I missed some comments. Oh, Sasha, She said she has 2 years clean, August 29th. Addiction is addiction. I'm so happy, and that she needed to hear this today. See? That's going to make me cry. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy because I know, like, even just putting this out here, like, I might be judged, you know. I've never put it out here publicly. A lot of people don't know I was gone. I still feel guilty. I feel guilty for missing out on certain things that Emma had during that time. But, you know, I talked to her and I have a conversation. I'm like, it saved my life. It honestly did. I didn't care if I lived or died at that point. I honestly didn't. And that's bad to say, but I don't know if I would be here today. It had such a tight grip on me, and my brother died from a heroin overdose at age 29. For over 7 years, he fought that battle. And yeah, it was a choice initially, but he also had a family member who was very close to him that did drugs with him for the first time, which is completely wrong. But my brother hated that life, and he's not here anymore. And I feel like even if, like, I can just help one person to reach out for that help, like, no matter what you're struggling with, like, no matter what kind of addiction, then it'll be worth it. There's been so many overdoses lately, so many. And it's so sad. It's just so sad. I feel for those people because I get it. I mean, mine wasn't drugs or alcohol, but I get it. That was my coping mechanism. That was my escape. It was the only way I knew how to deal until this point. So, like, honestly, like, no matter what issues you're having, like, reach out and find somebody. And I love that. I've become so close to so many girls on my team, like, that I know struggle with some of the same issues. Look at my nose now. I look like Bozo. Rudolph. You know, and they've reached out to me, and the fact that they open up to me, like, I could just almost cry. Like, it's such a wonderful thing to feel part of something bigger. So that was my whole point. That's why I do what I do. I don't see it as just selling makeup. Like, our whole mission of Unique is to uplift, empower, and validate women across the globe. We have men too. Women across the globe. We have a sexual abuse foundation for women who were sexually abused as adolescents. That I donate to. You can always round up your purchases, but that I donate a monthly amount to. It's very near and dear to my heart because I was exposed to sexual abuse myself when I was young. So I love that part of it. I love being able to help people in that aspect as well. You can go on the uniquefoundation.org, and they have a lot of resources. They have what's called a Haven Retreat, which is anybody. You don't have to be a presenter. Anybody can go to that website. If you were sexually abused as an adolescent anytime before the age of 18, you are able to go to this retreat. And the only thing you have to do is pay for your travel to get to Utah. After that, it's a 3 or 4 day retreat. Everything is provided to you. They have top of the line freaking counselors. You're pampered, you're spoiled. You do something called kintsugi, which is where you break a bowl and you put it back together with its gold lacquer, and you put it back together, and it's to show that even though you're broken, you can be whole again. Like, it's freaking amazing. So I love being part of something bigger. And that's why. So to those people that block me, I'm sorry if I annoy you, but it's why I do what I do. I feel so much better now. I don't know if I'll keep this up. I might be too scared. I told you I was just all emotional. I need to go pick out a freaking couch. I'm getting a new couch today. I'm getting a new couch and love seats. So I'm excited, but I have to clean out the crap behind it and inside of it first, so I gotta get some mojo to do that. Jennifer said I always tell people I put the fun in dysfunction when they say I'm crazy. I know, and I don't see it as, you know, I think there's so many people struggling with so many different things, and a lot of people are just scared to talk about it or reach out for help or whatever it is, but, you know, don't be afraid to reach out. And I'm always here for anybody if you just want to talk about something. There's some women that I just talk to about, I don't know, random things. I'm like an open book. So, okay. I think that's it. I think I've rambled long enough. So I am going to go ahead and get ready and resume my day. My counseling day is always, because then it's an hour and then my whole morning's just shot. But it's true. I have gotten picked on your whole life. Yeah, it's such a bad thing. And, it's so bizarre because, like, for me, that was 6th and 7th grade. I mean, that was like 100 years ago, but I'm 38 and I still carry that with me. Like, I am 38 freaking years old. And it's still with me to this day. And I know I was just I was an easy person to pick on. I had a teacher too. Ugh, somebody had a post, tag your 5th grade teacher, and I seen somebody tagged her in it. I'm like, are you kidding me? That 5th grade teacher, I feel like she did something nasty to me when I was in 5th grade. And if she would have asked, she would have found out the reason why I was falling asleep at my desk that day and not have slammed the book in my face and tipped my desk over. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. So yeah, okay. So that's it. I am done rambling and bawling my eyes out. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to resume my spark and I'm going to keep on working. I'm super behind now. But yes, thanks for joining me and listening to me ramble. I just felt like I need to get some things out there because I know some people do still carry so many negative beliefs about themselves, and it's very hard to change, but you can change it. Like I've already changed some, and I'm working so hard to change more in my life. So, reach out. Like I said, I'm always an open book if you want to talk about something, or reach out, find a counselor, find help nearby you if you're struggling with addiction. If you need help with any of those things, even the Sexual Abuse Foundation, I can help you. I can provide you links and give you an estimated time on the wait list. And we have so many resources nearby too. There are people that will help you, like, if you're struggling with addiction yourself, as far as drugs or alcohol, we have a ton of really, really good resources nearby. I wish they were around, in this full in force when my brother was struggling. They weren't. So I feel like the only thing, I can do now is kind of pass this along, and there you go. But everybody struggles with something, and just those negative self-beliefs are super hard to get rid of, but I strongly encourage you to reach out for help or do some personal development, some self-help books. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and go. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everybody.